Couple, he be acting really crazy, but it be on the beat. He be swerving, but it be on his feet. He be dropping, and they be on it quick. They be on...
Hey, next topic. This one's a bit of a controversial one. Is Black Lives Matter movement a lie? So, with all that's happening with the Black Lives Matter and the protests going around, especially around the world, we'll go with America and then we'll talk about how it's happening here too. So,
I think the organization itself is not the movement. The movement's sincere.
what about you know
The actual organization itself, Black Lives Matter, no.
You don't rate it?
Not sincere. No. Not much money's been given to them. They haven't given back to any black communities, nothing. Billions of dollars have been donated to them.
I don't know.
But obviously, the move itself is sincere of the people going and marching and protesting and whatnot. But the actual organization behind it and profiting off it, no.
But
I don't think so.
They're communists, bro. The organization's a bunch of communists, bro. They literally trained communists, bro.
Guys, but I feel like they are. So are you telling me that you're saying to me they haven't spent a dime giving back to the community?
Oh, I'm sure there's been a little bit, but not as much as you think. A lot of it has actually been paid to like in America specifically, like political campaigns. That's where most of the money has been going.
Yeah.
It's like I think Democratic stuff. I can't remember. It's going off the top of my head, but I remember reading up stuff like that.
Because I do believe, bro. Look, I don't know. I feel like it is a movement that is important.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? It is like the thing is the company behind it. I'm not sure. Like the thing is, people don't understand. Like a lot of people, even the ones that say, especially in Australia, saying, "Oh, all lives matter." This, that. Why is it only Black Lives Matter? They don't. I feel like you don't understand. It's like as they said, racism. Was it COVID's like racism. You don't believe it until you experience it. So it's like, bro, like as you know what I mean, as an African, Australian individual, I do experience racism. You know what? But you know what? I'm a big ups. You know what I mean? And you boys know me for a long time. I don't go around making I don't pull the race card. Tell me when I've ever pulled T and fur card. Tell me one time I've ever pulled the race card in my life.
Never. And after that many times that I've beaten you on 2K, you honestly should have pulled it out at least once. Just in there.
But in general, like, you know what I mean? I never pull out the race. You know what I mean? I never pull out the race card. You know what I mean? I'm proud of myself as an individual.
The problem is, I think, firstly, the thing about the All Lives Matter is I think they're about as disingenuous as the Black Lives Matter organization. They didn't feel the need. They didn't feel the need to say that at any point in the past, and now they're just coming out now, So that's that. But I do think what people do disagree with is the sort of what they're taking issue with is the narrative. I think what they're disputing is how truthful is it? Because the problem with narratives is that they can be grounded in reality and they can be grounded up in stories that are made up.
Yeah.
And so people are taking issue with that.
Yeah.
And then you have your geezers that are just like, you know what I mean? Like you're just using it to advantage their own position. You know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, that's for me. I don't really mess with the organization because I've looked on their website and I don't mess with them whatsoever. Yeah. I think to me they're I feel
really, like it's right. I think what it is for me personally. Why I support and I support the Black Lives Matter movement is pretty much it's the idea that, bro, like you won't see this like if you're not like an individual that's colored, but like when you're walking down the street and a lady tenses her purse, you know what I mean? Like I've seen it happen to me a couple times. I don't care about it, bro. I'm like, bro, I probably got more money than this broke ass lady anyways. But like imagine other people, imagine the significant, you know what I mean? And like walking down the street, like Michael T, you're a Caucasian individual. How many times have you been like just walking when you're going for a walk in your lifetime? Just think about roughly a number. How many times just going for a walk, a cop pulled over to you and said, hey, you going, mate, just checking up on you in your lifetime? In Australia as well.
Yeah.
What about you, Furkan?
a couple times, but it was always when I was coming out of Flemington. So you know what I mean.
You know what I mean, Kaz? That's what I'm trying to tell you. And what about, how about this? What about you, Kazi? I mean, what are you saying? How many times?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I got like pulled over for no reason down Geelong. In the city, like I've bare times in the city when I was like 16. But yeah, as of lately, not so much because suppose it's different. Like when I fit the profile of the age with the color, then a lot more times.
Right. For me, Kaz, I can say over how many times? 100 times. But you know, the thing is, it's like I'm good because I know how to speak to the cops. You know, I know how to react to them. You know what I mean? First number one rule for me is, Kaz, I don't see nothing like I'm Stevie Wonder. That's my rule. But you know what I mean? I know how to interact with the police. You know what I mean? In circumstances like they pull me over. Hey, how you going, mate? What are you up to? Blah blah blah. Nothing much. You know, just going home, heading on. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But imagine, like, think of the mentality of another black individual, a young individual, every time getting pulled over. What's their thoughts on the police? You know what I mean? So like, that's what Black Lives Matter is about, man. It's like, why do you see me as a threat more than you see another individual? Why do you see me like you saw what happened with the 17-year-old kid? Remember the 17-year-old kid that got that walked with the assault rifle, shot 2 people, and then after you saw that, you guys saw that, yeah? And he walked right past the police officers.
But I've kind of like numbed myself out of it.
I didn't see all of it, to be honest with you.
He walked with an assault rifle past police officers. Imagine a 17-year-old kid.
What?
Obviously. Sorry, what were you saying?
I'm pretty sure America is.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I feel like America's like on another level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure people run around with assault rifles all the time.
But like, the thing is, I understand that they have gun laws and stuff, but at a protest, when you see crowded people and you see a citizen walking with an AR strapped to them.
Yeah.
Nah, he got charged. With that one, I gotta be.
Because we never really found that stuff.
If you look at some of the full coverage from the beginning to the end, there's been people running around with straps, and that guy, if anything, was underarmed. If anything, there has been people running around with let's say heavy firepower.
Yeah.
But he got charged anyway. He got charged.
Yeah, so if he got charged, that's a different story as well.
He got charged, and then videos revealed.
Eventually, because the videos were revealed and the internet did its job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
and then you have
part of the problem that he only got charged.
Sorry.
Pardon?
Isn't that part of the problem? Isn't part of the problem or the controversy is that he only got charged? Because the perception is if it was a black guy walking or a Hispanic or whatever, in America specifically, walking around with strapped up like that, they would have been shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And then you the Jacob Blake situation, where the guy he's going into his car. Firstly, the cops have tasers, pepper spray, and guns. They could have pepper sprayed him, they could have tasered him, but instead they chose to shoot him in the back 7 times. And that just shows it's like, okay, why? Firstly, do you know what I mean? And then like it's just like, why do you see? Like, that's why they're emphasizing. I feel like they're emphasizing Black Lives Matter because of police brutality that's happening there. And what they say is like the excuse I think they use is black on black crime. If you look at the numbers,
they try. That's
if you look at the numbers, they say if you look at the numbers, more white people are killed by police officers and stuff. But if you think about it, I think it was like 76% of America is white, Caucasian. Yeah. And then I can't remember.
People, Hispanics, Mexicans are a minority for a reason.
Yeah.
Called minority.
So if it was flipped the other way around, if imagine it was 76% were black and Hispanic, how many would have died then? The numbers would have quadrupled.
Yeah, but then you got to remember they're also the majority, so then they'd make up the police force, then they'd make up, so it's a bit.
Yeah.
You can't really compare.
It'd be a whole different system.
Yeah.
Can I just backtrack for 1 second?
Yeah.
So, touching on to what these guys were saying, I can see why, because therefore, I understand like the BLM movement, but the company itself, the foundation,
that's
the money, that's where they were trying to get at before. Because I was trying to say,
there's no dispute on the movement itself. Obviously.
Because
I went to you all went, you know what I mean? Like obviously, there's all like the stuff, the sentiment behind it. On paper, we all agree on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
But I'm just talking about their organisation specifically. Like if I was to donate anywhere, I would be donating to them. I'd rather donate to a black-owned business. I'd rather donate to,
sure.
you know, like just more ground level stuff.
Yeah.
Than
And
a big
honestly,
corporation like that. But you don't know where your money's going.
yeah, I
And
agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you look it up, like I was looking into this like before it, so like I'm for the BLM movement, but the company's run, and it's crazy to think like it's a company for black people, but it's actually run by white people.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
So the money that you give it
black
to,
there's
So-
essentially just a black spoke people,
Yeah.
and that's it. But not actually funding the money.
so here's
behind
some facts. Here's some facts for you guys. Ready? 71% of the money they rake in goes to salaries and consultations. That's just flat out. 71% of the money goes to just the people that are running the foundation. So that's 71% of the money you put in goes just to white people. So like the people that think they're supporting a black industry aren't even supporting
I don't know. Isn't
That's
the
my issue with
organization
that.
run by like three?
I thought it was 3 individuals. They were
Three like
individuals.
Marxists or communists or something like that. That's why
Yeah,
I don't agree with them.
politicians,
I don't
yeah.
agree with them because they're communists.
Yeah, it's pretty. From what I'm aware of, I'm pretty sure it's essentially just a political campaign. It's pretty
Yeah.
much all.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm from my understanding. I heard that
To break it
received-
down, pretty much just a political
But
campaign.
so moving on from that, the Black Lives Matter movement. It started in America. I want to talk about the impact it's had in Australia. You know, most of us have attended the protesting across. We've seen a protest across Australia, and then we attended the one in Victoria as well.
Yeah.
After that, have you seen any change?
I haven't been out anywhere, bro. After that, to be honest.
You know what I mean? It's like we
We
haven't.
haven't really had a chance to see anything. You know.
Not even as that, but like, have you realized the discussion just
Russia.
died out, bro? Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't see people.
Yeah, because
posting
for
about
most
it.
people, it's just a phase. It's a
phase,
wave
and-
to jump on.
Yeah,
that's
It's a wave
that's-
to jump
yeah,
on.
it's just something
It's
to
what's trending. It's
and then 2 weeks later, see you later.
to feel a part of. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just something to feel a part of.
so
Yeah.
what do you feel is the future for the Black Lives Matter, for the Indigenous people? You know, even the black individuals.
I think it will get better. I think it will get better.
I think it's kind of like what we were talking about before. Yeah, sorry, go bro.
I think because our generation and stuff, we're the ones coming up, and
Yeah,
I personally haven't seen a lot of racism and stuff from like our age. You know what I mean? Like we all just look at each other the same.
yeah,
That's what I think, at least, from what like my life encounters. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I feel like that's like slowly phasing out racism, everything. But
Yeah.
that's probably what the generation before us was saying, and the generation before that, I don't know. Maybe that's what they were saying as well.
It's good that like awareness is happening now more than ever, but it's not going to happen instantly. I think we'll probably see what we've planted in now, in like kind of what we're talking about with like climate change. You know what I mean? Like you'll see it in a couple more generations from now. We might not even see the effects of this till we're like 40. You know what I mean? We might not see like, because if you look around Australia, like this is like the cultural acceptance is really in Sydney and like Melbourne. But if you look around at cities like Adelaide, Perth, Darwin, and like
But
Queensland,
who wants
like
to go there anyway?
Yeah, but the people living there, I know that no one wants to go there, but there's people living there, you know what I mean? And they're the ones.
Yeah, but there's,
you know,
and then like they're
Like, it's
copying
pretty
like they're
hard
copying
out
mad
there, man.
racism. Yeah, like we don't cop it as much the racism here. Like we still cop it, but we're not copying it as harsh as these guys out there.
Yeah.
That even for the indigenous communities that are getting their water cut off by the government, that are being isolated, they're being treated unfairly. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, like at the moment, yeah, we haven't seen much results, but who's
I
going
feel
to
like
say
it
like
is
a lot of people?
generational thing. Yeah, I feel like it is a generational thing. You know what you got to do as well, especially from a young age, man. You got to teach. You got to teach the kids this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have more interactive
100%.
events and stuff. Like I remember in my primary school, we had some event in North Melbourne Primary School. We had an event called International Dinners. So it's like where people bring their food.
Yeah, we had that.
You had that, yeah, but like, you know what I mean? You get to see like different cultures. You experience that. You're like, yo, I remember eating sushi for the first time. I'm like, cuz these munchies go down. You know, I'm eating Asian food. I'm eating European food. You start, and then you see your classmates. You become more friends with them, and I feel like the more diversity there is and the more inclusive activities they have of different cultures and events, multicultural events.
Yeah.
I feel like it will become a generational thing. People be like, it'll be like, bro, it's like you'll be looked down on if you have any racist views. You know what I mean? Like society's moving to that point where it's like, bro, this guy's a racist. You know what I mean? It's like, and
but do you think the biases and the prejudice we have now, do you think they'll be removed completely, or do you think they'll just be replaced by other ones?
I feel like we'll be replaced, man. To be honest, I feel like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's
as
so
well,
human nature though, to like hate.
Human, yeah. There's always these people in this world that just have in them. It's just like they just wake up like frustrated, bro. Just like, let me hate someone.
But you see what I'm trying to say is like
sounding like a DMX song.
Yeah.
The problem I have with some of these, like just movements in general, is especially when it comes to things like, just anything, racism, when they're talking about class, whatever, it seems to me to be the case that when they're in the pursuit of trying to end discrimination, they themselves start discriminating against other groups. I don't know if people have sort of picked up on that. You know what I'm saying?
All lives matter versus Black Lives Matter. It's the same, you know what I mean? Just
I don't know, man. It's just something that I personally picked up on, man. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but...
So do you feel like it's going to ever end, or...?
No, I just think, I don't know, man. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea, man.
Something else, or morph into something else.
Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Maybe like classism will be more evident in like 10, 15 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like Australia's moving to
like that. You don't know, yeah.
Australia's in like we're like the equivalent of like the 1970s of America, bro, like 1980s, where like, there is job opportunities, business is starting to grow, but then we're seeing capitalism develop, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
everything's being outsourced overseas.
Yeah, and then you also
get
the impact of, China coming from, China investing and stuff like that, and I feel like we're going to start to see a bit of classism. We're going to see a gap in between incomes as well.
Yeah.
Wealth gap.
I mean,
but hopefully, cause bro, it does end, bro. Like, I don't know, the racism and all of that, bro. And people start to realize that, like, rather than judging someone on their skin color, judge them on their character, man.
Racism will never.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's like, it's like saying like, oh, one day, there's never going to be a poor class. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was trying to get at, man.
Everyone, at the end of the day, everyone has a freedom to think what they want and say what they want, and that's the realism of it. Like, no matter what, you can tell people not to be racist all they want, but deep down, there's still some people will still have it in them. Like, it's
100%.
So we can minimize it as much as we can. But we'll never be able to erase it.
That's true, man. Hopefully that's our goal, but like, I feel like that's the goal of the world, man. We minimize it as much as we can.
Exactly.